Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. It's Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today I want to discuss The Mole on Netflix, you guys. So full disclosure, I believe there used to be a Mole series in the early 2000s. Kind of similar concept, and they've kind of revamped the show. And the first set of episodes, the first 5 episodes came out last week, and Friday, as you guys know, midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the next set of episodes. And then I believe the final 2 episodes will drop the following week, you guys. But I have been wanting to discuss this show because I was not sure how I was going to feel about it, because I didn't really see it trending. I saw some people, kind of mentioning it here and there. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a gander and watch this on Netflix. And I was hooked. Because I love like little mysteries, clues, trying to figure out who done it type of thing. And I loved it. I loved the cast. I loved the diversity. I loved it. However, there is one issue that I have before we kind of get into some things. The issue that I have, one, is I have an issue with these Netflix shows with there not being like a set prize amount, because this is like the same thing with Too Hot to Handle, that if you do something wrong, you lose money and this and that. But when you look at some of the cast occupations, for instance, on this season of The Mole, a lot of the cast make more in their base salary than what the prize pot is. So that's why I don't understand why not at the minimum for these reality show, the prize money is like set at like 150K or 300K or whatever. And then there can be other incentives. So like, for instance, Claim to Fame, that was just on ABC. They still had a set prize amount, but basically what happened was the incentives were based off of, who won and who lost the different challenges, right? And who was at risk for elimination. I feel like, say whoever wins The Mole and like the pot is like 2-3 grand, like, is that even enough for them to fly out of Australia? Like, I just need to know, like, I guess, what is the, base or whatever, right? Or even if you want to have additional cash prizes, why not still, just have it to where it's a benefit, it's an addition, then subtraction, right? So say you had that base amount for the winner, 150K or 300K. And some of these challenges, you either win an additional 10, 20, 30K or you don't, right? So there is that, but it's just, I don't know how I feel about it, because it's like, if I already make, way more money than what is currently in this prize pot, like, why do I have an incentive to do anything that is going to help people make this money when really the clout is the win, right? Because the money is not, 150K, 300, $500,000 or $1 million, right? So I understand some people who do not mind partaking in the sabotages, because it's like their regular salary for the regular jobs that they left to film this TV show is way more than what the prize pot is. So I'm hoping that's something that Netflix takes into consideration for not only future reality shows, but as they're reassessing their existing reality shows, such as Too Hot to Handle, such as The Mole, that do not have that set price, okay? So let's get into some things, right? Because obviously everybody is speculating on who The Mole is, right? Everybody is trying to figure out, okay. And so just to kind of give you guys a brief overview for those of you who have not seen the show yet, basically each episode, there's a minimum of 1 to 2 possible challenges, right? And the goal is to win additional money to the prize amount, right? And so basically what'll happen is, for the most part, they're broken up either into 2 or 3 teams or what have you, and they have to complete the mission. And so some people are not looking at clues. Some people, it's going to cost money to look at a clue. Some people just didn't even open their bags at all for some of these challenges. There was like a jailbreak challenge that actually I really enjoyed watching. And there's been quite a few different challenges where they all had to like sit in this old office and debate whether or not, they wanted to all unite as a team and win the money, or try to crack the code and press this alarm, and then your team avoids elimination, but nobody gets the money. So just kind of examples like that. And so the end of each challenge, you guys, there is a quiz at the end that everybody takes separately wherever they're at. And it's about, I want to say it's like 20 or 30 questions or something like that. And basically they're asking questions to figure out if you know who the mole is. And the person who gets the most incorrect answers basically is eliminated, like right on the spot. You don't get to say bye. You get to go out with the host and give your thoughts, but like it's an immediate elimination, right? And so what happens is, these people who are kind of putting all their eggs into certain people, they're the ones who are getting shipped out, and they are guessing wrong for some of these people to be the mole. And it's just wild because it's like, and then there was a part where, and this is where we're going to get into some spoilers, you guys. Sorry. This is where we're going to get into some spoilers. What's happening is so many people are convinced that Joy is the mole, but I do not think that is the case. I think it is too obvious for her to be the mole. I think she is just a really good sabotager, and if people continue to select her on these quizzes, that's also good for her game to continue to stay in the competition. But I'm noticing the people who are kind of unsure on who exactly the mole is, but they're kind of shuffling around their answers between like 2 to 3 people, because the questions will ask, okay, what color hair do you think the mole has? Is it black hair, brunette, blonde, or whatever? Is the mole a male or female? Did the mole participate in this challenge? Were they the captain of this challenge? And so it'll ask questions basically to where you would have to know certain information, certain characteristics about the mole in order to answer those questions. And then at the very end, it's like, okay, we'll select the picture of the person that you think is the mole. So again, a lot of people want it to be Joy. I just think she's too obvious, you guys. I think she is too obvious, but I think she's an incredible sabotager. An incredible sabotager to where people keep assuming that it's her. She like bid $25,000 to figure out, which of her other castmates decided to look at these dossiers that had like clues and information about some of the other people in the cast. And basically if she was correct, that $25,000 went out of the pot, but like basically it secured her safety, because there are certain elements to these challenges to where you can basically learn an automatic elimination, right? Or automatic, safety from elimination. So that means you don't have to take a quiz and be at risk for going home. And so like the people who have to take the quiz, you take the quiz, and then they have to like sit around this table and read the results. And so basically it looks like an iPhone. And once she types in your name in the laptop, once the host types in your name's going to appear, your phone's going to light up. And you hit your name, and it's either going to be green that you are still in the game, or it is going to be red that you are immediately eliminated. And there really is no rhyme or reason. There's really no set order. And I was kind of surprised at that they just didn't do like a set order of like, that way each episode is kind of like a suspense of like who the 2 or 3 people can be. Sometimes it might be the second or third person that is immediately eliminated. So it's very interesting. So that's also another thing too. I think it would have been good to kind of give some suspense on, who potentially could be like, at risk. So there was that. So like I said, I don't think Joy is the mole. I do not think Avery is the mole, but I think what she's doing is she is trying to do what Joy has been doing from the start, which is starting to sabotage challenges. And so that is what happened, previously, where people can think that it's her and then get sent home. Which is also a good strategy, right? If you know that you're not the mole and you continue to do all this sabotages, if everybody focuses on you, then you go home, right? And so then there is also Casey, as well, that's in the cast. There was Dom. So I have to speak on this Dom situation. So spoiler alert, Dom does not make it through these first 5 episodes, you guys, but there was an opportunity for him to come back into the game, and the challenge was basically he had, to ask his cast members, specific questions that pertain to certain cities that they would know about, whether it was like their favorite city to go to a game or where they were born or this and that. And so out of all of the questions, basically he would have been left with one location that would have been the password to unlock him out of the car and he can get back into the competition. But I was so pissed because at first it seemed like some people, a couple people at least, were like willing to, let him back in the game. And they figured, hey, because if he came back, he comes back with 10K because they had lost the 25K previously because of Joy. And so other people were like, listen, we can still win money without him and we don't need him and he has information. And I'm like, well, what information does he really have? He just has information that one person out of like the 9-10 people that are left of you guys, that's not the mole. But it's not like breaking news. You know what I mean? So, so that was a little frustrating because I felt like, and it sucked because they didn't want to help him with the questions. And so ultimately he figured out everything and it narrowed down to 2 choices. And I was like, please choose Seattle, please choose Seattle. And he chose the opposite. And I just felt so bad for him because I just felt that they were so nasty. And it was like out of everyone there, you could tell he genuinely wanted to win the money no matter how much it was or how little it was. He was genuinely there for the right reasons, where I think some of the other people, they're just there, for the prestige of being like, hey, I'm the mold or I cracked the code on the mole and, won this game or what have you. So there is that. But yeah, I really miss Dom because I thought he was really genuine. Greg, I don't think is the mole either. I think also he likes to sabotage things as well. Because he's starting to sabotage challenges. He wasn't really on people's radar before, but now he's starting to be on people's radar. Also, like I said, and then there's Kessie. I don't think she's the mole either. I just think, the things that she messed up on, being in charge of a challenge and like missing, getting like a money bag in a challenge. I just think she's just one of those people who's kind of like aloof to where they're not thinking of like every single possible thing, or they're not always 100% focused on things. So as a result, accidental mistakes will happen, but it's not mistakes on purpose, right? But to people that are on the same team with you, that can raise their suspicion level, right? But, with that being said, I think that she's not the mole. I just think she just happens to get into these situations where by chance she makes a mistake. So therefore it just makes her look like a target. And so then there was Osai. He, I believe, was eliminated like the first episode. But he was kind of, I don't know, he just wasn't on his game. Like he didn't even unzip the bag to even see if there was like clues or information in there for the first mission. So I'm like, dude, like, And then you're, again, obsessed with one person that you think is the mole, and you don't even have enough information yet to really evaluate if that person is or isn't the mole. And so it's like, once you focus in on that, then it kind of screws you if you're wrong. So then we have Pranav. Oh, I think Pranav is cute. I love, how he is moving in this game. I don't think he is the mole. I haven't seen anything suspicious as of yet to, give that confirmation, as well. Then we also have Samara, who is on the show, because we've had quite a few people leave, right? So she was on the show. We had Sandy, and I kind of love that she got her karma of not wanting Dom to come back into the game, and then she ends up getting eliminated next. I love how karma works, you guys. And so basically we are narrowed down, you guys. We are narrowed down to 2 people that I think are possibly the mole. One is William. And the reason that I think it's William is because it came out after the first mission, who stole the other cargo. And basically we found out that there was like a secret mission for somebody to steal the cargo in the middle of the night. And then if you did that, I believe you like double the prize or whatever for the group. But it raised suspicion amongst some of the people in the cast because it's like, okay, are you not trustworthy now? Like, what's going on? And so then after that, he's kind of flown under the radar. He's kind of played the game like somebody who's kind of following all the rules, not somebody that's like trying to sabotage anything. Looks like a leader, looks like somebody, and that sometimes too can be the mole of somebody who may do something that might seem like a sabotage at first, but really it's beneficial to the team. So you think, oh, this person's a team player. They had to be sneaky at first, but now that they're a team player, they're not the mole. And I think that is the game he is playing. He is like one of my top picks as the mole. I do not think it's Joy. I think Joy is way too obvious. She is way too obvious of a sabotager for it to be her at this point. So I'm definitely on to Will, and Will is actually who Joy thinks is the mole. And I think there is something there. The other person that I think is Jacob. There is, and Jacob again was another player who was under the radar for a significant amount of time these first few episodes, right? But then I started to notice in, the last couple of episodes how he's working, right? How he's doing subtle sabotage, right? And so what I mean by that is you're not overtly obvious that you're blatantly trying to sabotage something. And that's the difference with Joy and other people, is that Joy is pretty blatant with her sabotage. She's done some form of a sabotage basically in any challenge that, she's supposed to be responsible to, really take charge in and do stuff. So basically, Jacob, again, he like flies under the radar. Nobody knows like what he's doing or anything. And then out of nowhere in this money heist type of challenge, you have to count, basically their group had different, like I think 8 or 10 different currencies, and they had to total a certain amount, and you couldn't go $1 over to win more money to the pot. And so what Avery had noticed was that when Jacob was counting the US dollars, it was supposed to be, I believe, like $50 bills. It was supposed to be a certain amount of, US dollars in each stack that he was counting, right? And so Avery was kind of like, okay, well, let me just double check this. Let me just double count this to make sure this is the exact amount in each stack. And so she was finding that a few dollars here and there were missing from each stack, and they were not matching the agreed upon number that each stack was supposed to have. And so she kept that close to the vest because she's like, that's information that I have that I can use later that other people don't know. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was this recent train challenge where basically what happened is, there's 3 teams and you have to basically deliver these like, these little money bags of some sort. Either you have to walk it, you have to take the train, or you have to drive. And so Jacob decided to be the driver, and he and Joy were the driver. They were paired together, right? And so, but she was responsible for the navigation. And so this is why this is funny, because Joy is a pilot, right? So you would think, she would know navigation and directions well, but the first competition that involved a map, she basically walked these people so far away from where they needed to be in the challenge that she basically put a big target on her back, like, maybe she's the mole, but I didn't think it was her, even in the first episode. But what happened in this particular instance, this last challenge, the challenge before the very last one, before we went into this last elimination, is that Jacob was the driver. And Joy was, reading the map. And I could tell that Joy was sabotaging. But then I noticed that Jacob was not in a hurry to get all of the cash. And, there was a moment where it was like, okay, well, we can go back and get this cash, or we can just go and run out of time. And it was just weird because Jacob was just kind of like lackadaisical, like he really didn't care either way. Like at first he tried to play it off like he was upset that they, were going the wrong direction, that they weren't reading the maps right. And then all of a sudden they would go back to, where these little spots were to pick up the money and this and that. And, but then towards the end, he just didn't seem to care, like whether or not they got everything. Cause I think they only got like 2 out of 3 of the money bags that they were supposed to, cause they were already late. They were already out of time. They'd already wasted so much time. And I think that he strategically was paired with Joy on purpose because he can basically say, hey, it wasn't my fault. Joy couldn't read the navigation. She couldn't read the map. So therefore, that's why we're so late. But really, it's him because he's trying to play off like he's the good person. He's the person that is looking at all the instructions and, you know, trying to do everything correctly. But I don't buy it. I do not buy it at all. So there is that. So I am hoping, so where we left off is basically we are down to William and Joy in the latest episode. And, basically, you know, whoever has, you know, a bomb under them, or like, you know, they had like different foods, kind of like Fear Factor was what it was giving. But basically there were certain alterations to your food if there was like nothing under you versus if something was under you. And so basically it got narrowed down to, and then the rest of everyone else gets to vote out who they think it is, and they'll light up whether or not they're right or wrong. And so Joy basically has an option now to either save herself or save herself from elimination and win a free, get out of elimination free card or whatever. Or she gets to like make the guess of who she thinks between, you know, her and William that has the bomb or whatever. And so, and basically if she's correct, then the bomb doesn't explode and everybody gets the money. But if she's wrong, then, you know, it does explode and there is no money. But she's looking at it like, wait a minute, I can just take the elimination and there's no money like I did last time. So I expect her to take the elimination. I will be very surprised if she does not. The only reason I would think she wouldn't is if she's trying to show that she's like a team player in good faith, since she already like lost them the 25K. But I think at this point, if she's just trying to secure her safety and continue on in the game, just do it. Just do it. They'll be pissed off, and go from there and continue to raise suspicion on you. So people continue to choose you as the mole. So there is that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the show? Are you guys excited for the next set of episodes to drop? What do you guys think of the mole? And please let me know in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.